Thomas closed his eyes due to boredom and exhaustion when he heard someone breaking a glass in the distance. It was past midnight, and Thomas was half asleep in the car. They were passing across downtown in a taxi on their way home. Paula was in the back seat, deep asleep. They were back from Rome, where they had spent their vacations with some friends. They had split at the airport. The city was deserted that Tuesday at 2 in the morning, and there were barely any cars in the street. The light turned red. That's when his eyelids became too heavy, result of fatigue. Then he heard the breaking glass that woke him up. He opened his eyes and, squinting, tried to see what had happened. In another traffic light, there was a car stopped by some vandals who were hitting the crystals with rods. The driver got off the car, enraged, but the attackers landed a hit on his face, knocking him to the ground. "Did you see that?" Thomas asked the taxi driver. "See what?" asked the driver sullenly. "I'm sorry, I can't pay attention to what happens out there. My job is to watch the road." Thomas looked back and saw they were still beating the man. He pointed them to the driver, who looked uninterested. "I don't see anything. What's going on?" he said, showing no emotions. "It's too dark." "A man is being beaten to death. We have to call the police. Shit, my phone's dead." "Are you sure what you're saying?" asked the driver. "Maybe they're just drunk." "I saw them taking him out of the car after destroying his car windows," Thomas exclaimed loudly, waking Paula up. "What's wrong?" "Nothing, honey. Go back to sleep," Thomas said, faking a calm tone. "I'll tell you later." She closed her eyes again and almost immediately sighed. "We better stay out of trouble." The driver kept going when the light turned green. As they got out of sight, Thomas noticed the men were looting the car and undressing the man, taking everything he had on him. Stop the car!" he commanded. "If they're really doing what you're saying, call the police and tell them the address. There's no good here for us if we stay," the driver said. "They might come and do the same to us." "You're right, but my phone's out of battery. Honey, yours?" "What?" Paula was awake again. "What's wrong now? Does your phone have any charge?" "I don't know." Paula got her hand in her purse, but stared at something happening outside the car. "Oh my God." She stared at another car parked right in the middle of the street that diverged from the one they were going through. The car doors were open, and its owners were being savagely beaten by other vandals. The taxi driver sped up and didn't stop at the next red light, because more people were getting close with rods and sticks in their hands, as if trying to do the same to them. "Jesus," the driver exclaimed. "What's going on here?" "Keep going, don't stop!" Thomas screamed, terrified. "What's going on with these people? Have they lost their minds?" The car dashed through the streets, going faster and faster as they saw dozens of youngsters with sticks in their hands, looking at them as if there was nothing else in the world, waiting for them to stop. The taxi driver ran past every red light. Some of the youngsters started throwing stones at them, but they all missed. Others followed them, sprinting, cursing, and demanding them to stop, as they rushed at over 62 miles per hour. They saw police cars in the middle of the road, with doors wide open and not a cop in sight. There were motionless bodies lying in the street with red and bloody faces. The driver avoided them skillfully, but he didn't notice that another car was approaching at high speed at a crossing, and they brutally crashed. The youngsters howled in happiness as they saw their prey had finally stopped. The car's nose was totally destroyed, and the passengers of the other car seemed unconscious. Thomas's neck was in great pain, and Paula cried hysterically. The taxi driver hadn't been so lucky. Since the steering wheel had embedded in his legs and the door had crushed his hip, he had died on the spot. Paula, calm down. We're gonna get out of here right now. Thomas managed to open his door with difficulty and then open Paula's. He could hear the screams of joy the youngsters made as they approached as ravenous wolves running downhill. Come on, run, run, run! Once he got Paula out, the girl ran downhill towards the square. Those guys were less than 300 feet, and Thomas, seeing Paula run as fast as she could, tried his best to keep up the pace. Promising himself that he was caught, he had to stop them from getting to her. He had to fight them. He didn't care about his own well-being, only Paula's. She then tripped and fell. Thomas stopped to help her. Come on, honey, run, he pleaded. We have to hide, otherwise they'll catch us, she whimpered, so terrified her legs were trembling. Where? Everything's closed. There has to be a pub open. Let's go down the street to try and lose them, she said. You're right. Run. She went back on her feet, and they both continued running through the alleys, searching for a light, a bar, a pub, or open store. Everything was dark, and even hotels were closed. Why is everything closed at 2 a.m.? They turned right, then left, then right again, and soon all the yelling from the guys were lost in the distance. Thomas and Paula were exhausted. Luckily, those vandals seemed to be more so. A phone, said Thomas, panting. We have to call the cops. They saw a booth in the corner and inserted several 10-cent coins, dialed 091 and waited. It's not going through, Thomas hissed in disbelief. Try again, keep going until they answer. He tried about 10 more times until the call finally went through.
Police office, how can I help you?
We're downtown, the streets.
I'm sorry, all police officers are busy.
All of them? What the hell is going on? Thomas asked.
There are riots all over the capital and we don't have enough manpower. Many of them aren't even answering. Find a safe place and stay and don't go out under any circumstances.
Are you crazy? We have nowhere to hide. They're gonna kill us.
I'm sorry, I have to take other calls. Thank you for your cooperation.
And she hung up. Paula was crying. Thomas, what's going on? What did they say? She doesn't know for sure. She said there are riots all over the city. Riots? Why? What's wrong with these people? She asked, terrified, with shaky hands. I have no idea, baby, but don't worry. We've lost them. We'll hide in some ATM that can be locked. They found a well-lit one after walking for a while. They got in and locked the door. We'll be fine here, Thomas said. They sat on the floor of the small place and, out of exhaustion, even despite their fear, they went into a deep sleep, hoping the sun of the morning would awake them. However, a terrible loud crashing sound did. When they opened their eyes, they saw a vehicle against the bank's windows. These windows were designed to resist that kind of hits, but this one barely did. They were horrified to see a young man driving the vehicle who, noticing the hit didn't open a hole, put the truck in reverse and rammed back at the glass. This time, the vehicle broke down and the ATM doors burst open into 1,000 pieces, cutting Thomas and Paula. Luckily, the driver was left unconscious after the hit, and they managed to run out of the place. However, the driver's friends were waiting for them outside. What do you want? Money? Asked Thomas. There you go, that's all I have. It isn't much. He threw his wallet to the ground so they would grab it and probably fight for it. What made their blood run cold was that not one of them minded the wallet on the ground. Without saying a word, they attacked them with their bats and rods, and they both lost consciousness.